As we move on here to the next section, actually, there's a question that I wanted to bring in because it feeds right into our next slide, which is like, how do I avoid shadow procurement, especially in a rather decentralized environment, right? And so we're painting this nice picture of a hub and spoke model with all of the players at the table and a committee and all this governance model end state, right? That works really well, like a well-oiled machine, a well-oiled sausage machine, some might say. But I think how you need to think about it in a context where you may not have that maturity, you may not have everybody aligned on this concept, is to think about, okay, well, what are the different slices or the different variances or views or lenses, if you want to use different terms, right, of the supplier data object. And at the beginning, often it's just like, hey, we just need, basic qualification, like that picture that we were discussing at the beginning, and transactional data so that I can get them paid and in our ERP system, right? So I think I would start there. If you've got a shadow procurement problem, suppliers are being created all over the place, right? It's like, okay, how can we centralize just these basic things with like the least amount of stakeholders possible? And then once we've got that small sausage machine going, right, we've got a couple stakeholders, things are going well for that, then we can start expanding to compliance, to risk, to ESG, innovation, quality, et cetera, right? By bringing those stakeholders into the fold and releasing a new version or new views within that SRM process so that it remains manageable over time. And we're not trying to design everybody's requirements into the SRM process and SRM technology at the same time. So I'm wondering, Gary, like, would you add anything to that? Are you in agreement with that?
I guess you're always going to have the not invent it here mentality, but if you develop a proficient process that services the organization, then the opportunity for someone to create a shadow environment, a shadow process, is going to be diminished. Could it happen? Obviously, right? And I don't know, the bigger the organization, the more prevalent it becomes.
Yeah.
And I don't know that, human nature sometimes takes over. But if something works, people tend to use it, right? Like when you go to the grocery store, you use the roads that have already been established. You don't drive through the woods or over the fields or up the side of the mountain. You take the easy path to the grocery store, right? And I think, people will do that. If you have, a vendor request process that's easy to navigate, where everybody understands the process, everybody understands the standards, they're going to use that instead of just calling the vendor and sending them some contract they whipped up out of ChatGPT, right? So those are the things that mature organizations do, right? And then when they do find these cottage industries or these shadow procurement processes, they're able to in a friendly manner blend them in, right? So they become part of the whole.